Hello everyone, it's Ryan Liberty, and in this video I'm going to answer the question, what is enabling? Don't worry, I got it. Okay everyone, so we're going to talk about what is enabling, and welcome to my channel if you've never been here before. I like to humanize mental health, which basically means I show that we all have mental health issues and we all experience them a little bit differently, but we all are humans going through this experience, and I like to show different perspectives on how mental health shows up. So what is enabling? Enabling is simply when you don't allow somebody to feel the natural consequences of their behaviors. So they do something bad, they do something that might get them in trouble, and instead of allowing them to just fall on their face and feel the pain or the consequences of that, you step in and you prevent that from happening, and that would be enabling. So I've got notes, I took some ideas of like what enabling is down here. Basically, it's kind of like taking care of somebody else or managing them. And I know a lot of people who are parents have issues with this when their children grow up. As their children, you have to shield them from the consequences of their behavior. You have to protect them from things that they do. But as they get older and older, eventually you have to kind of let go of that a little bit and allow them to do things that are going to hurt themselves so that they can learn what they did and why that led them to hurt themselves so that they stop doing that behavior. But it's very hard sometimes as a parent to let go and allow them to face those consequences. So what we wind up doing is we wind up doing enabling, which doesn't allow them to be equipped to deal with the world the way that they should be. So again, this is usually something we do with people who are loved ones, and it prevents the person from feeling the pain that may be necessary for them to get the assistance that they need, especially in the case of like a mental disorder or a substance use disorder. The enabling prevents that person from feeling necessary pain. They need to be in pain. They need to face the consequences of their behavior in order to be motivated to change that behavior and to change the way that they do things. And when you take that opportunity from them by doing enabling, that prevents them from getting the help that they need. So let me talk about some examples here of what I'm talking about when I say enabling. So enabling is something maybe like normalizing somebody else's bad behavior. So just saying, well, that's just the way they are. That's always how they've been and they're always going to be that way. But that's not... Again, you're allowing them to do the bad behavior or the thing that's not helping them in order to just justify it by saying that's just how they are. So also it could be speaking for the person or speaking to other people for the person. So maybe that person has, they drank too much at night and they couldn't go into work, so you called the boss for them. That would be a form of enabling. Another example could just be financially supporting somebody. Maybe they need to go out and get a job, or they need to somehow make income on their own, and instead you're just supporting them, and then they never learn the skills that they need to go ahead and go out and get a career or start their own business or whatever it is that they're going to do to earn income. So that's another form of enabling, because you're shielding them from the consequences of not having money just given to them. So also keeping secrets about somebody. So maybe somebody has this kind of like ugly side to them and you know about it because maybe they only show it when they're at home. But when you keep that secret, you don't let other people know, like, yeah, that's how he really is when he's at home, or that's what she really does. It's the truth. And you kind of hide it and you keep it a secret. You allow them to continue to do it in secret. So again, that's enabling, because you're not allowing that person to feel the consequences of what it would be like if other people knew what they did. Another example is making excuses for somebody else's behavior. Again, that kind of goes back to like saying, well, that's just how they are, or saying, well, she's under a lot of pressure right now, or, he just had a baby, him and his wife just had a baby, or him and his husband just had a baby. Whatever the situation is, making excuses does not allow that person to feel the consequences that they need to feel. Another example would be blaming outside forces for their behavior. So maybe saying, well, they have a mental disorder, so that's just the way that they act. But having a mental disorder or having a substance use problem doesn't mean that you get a free pass to just do whatever you want. You still have to get into treatment. You still have to make yourself better. So making excuses, saying that there's something outside of them. Well, if the government would just do this for them, or if, the people at school would just make these exceptions, all of those kinds of things enable that person. So you don't want to do those things. Another example would be putting down boundaries that don't get enforced. So if you continually tell somebody, if you continue to do this behavior, then I'm going to take away your access to the car, and then you never do it. Or you tell them, if you continue to do this, then I'm going to leave you, I'm going to leave this relationship, but you never do it. You're teaching them that the consequences don't matter, and you're allowing them to continue that behavior. Another example of enabling is just avoiding the person because you don't want to get involved and you don't want to say anything. So people may not think of this as enabling, you may think of this as protecting yourself, but when you're not confronting that person and you're not allowing them to see, like, you really are bothering me when you do this, it's really annoying me, and it makes me not want to be around you. If they're not getting that information, then they're not, again, getting the consequences of their behaviors, and they're not learning that there's anything wrong with them. Another example, I've only got 2 more here, of enabling is that you may get that person out of trouble. So, like I kind of said before, you might call the boss for them and say, like, oh, they just need some time off, they're not feeling very well, lying for them. Or you might deal with a lawyer or somebody for them, or generally you're just stepping in and preventing them from getting in trouble, talking to people that they may have offended and smoothing things over, that kind of stuff. All of that is preventing them, and I keep repeating it here because that's the key to enabling, is you keep preventing them from seeing the consequences of their behavior and experiencing the pain that they need to feel in order to get motivated to get better and change that behavior. And finally, the last thing I have down for a form of enabling is that you may blame other people for that person's behaviors. So saying, well, if you didn't treat him this way, then this is not the way that he would act. And if the boss wouldn't give so much pressure, then this is not the way that she would be doing things. So keep in mind, it's not about what other people are doing. You have to allow that person to face their own behavior. And again, face the consequences, face the pain, and get motivated to get changed and to change their behavior, because that's what this is really about. When we're talking about things like mental illness, substance use, if the person doesn't see that there's something wrong with their behavior, they're going to continue doing it. So it's actually helpful, it's positive when you confront them and let them know, I'm not putting up with this anymore, I'm not going to continue enabling this behavior, you're going to have to face the consequences. And I know that can be hard for you, and I know that can be painful for you because you care about this person, you want to shield them from pain, but the best thing you could do for somebody who you're currently enabling is to stop enabling them, because once they finally get into treatment and change those behaviors, they now have new ways to live that helps them to deal with life in a healthy way. And that is really the goal here, and that's what I want to show about this whole mental health thing, is that we all experience this in different ways, but we all are humans going through it. Nobody's perfect, and you're not perfect if you're enabling. People do it. It's okay if you enabled somebody. The other person is not perfect either, having a mental disorder or substance use disorder or whatever is going on with them, but we all want to get towards healthy behavior, and it would be healthy for them to get treatment. It would be healthy for you to stop enabling them, and that's what I wish for you. So if anybody out there has an example of enabling that they see in their lives, or maybe something that you've done that was enabling and you didn't even realize it was enabling at first, I'd love to hear about it, and I know the rest of the community would want to hear, so leave that down here below. And I thank you for taking the time to learn about enabling with me and helping me to humanize mental health. Do you give a about mental health? If you do, then I've got some free coloring pages I think you'll enjoy. Go ahead and click to get those. If you like this video, I have many more on YouTube. Subscribe to see the rest of them. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below for the rest of the community and share with a friend. As always, I want to remind you that your life matters. Nobody can question your worth. However it is that you're feeling, whatever it is that you're going through, it's okay and you are loved. Thanks again for watching.